All right, Shalom, Akim. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Ruel. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Excuse, excuse me, I got a runny nose. But yeah, man, let me get straight to the point. Lord willing, is edifying. I was just doing some meditation on this verse yesterday and today, and through the Spirit, it's going to go into Matthew 6 and 22, and there's another account of this verse that I'll probably get as well, and just want to get this verse, and this video may be entitled something about focus, because this verse and the aspect of being focused in this ministry go hand in hand, and I'm gonna get the word focus on the etymology to show you how, there's a connection between what it means to focus and what this scripture is talking about, and because we have to be more focused than ever. We're at the end, we're at the end of this thing, as brothers say. We're at the end of this thing. This is the last battle. This is our last final moments in hell. And when you are at the end of something, that's when the enemy wants you to let down your guard, because you have the calm before the storm. And when you are in that calm, it's easy to let down your guard and forget that you are truly in that storm. All right, so we got to be more focused now than ever. So this is Matthew 6 and 22. It says, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve the Most High and Mammon. All right, so we read it through once. Now let's go verse by verse. Verse 22 says, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. Now, we know that the body parts, a lot of times in the scriptures, when it's being spoken of in a parable or an analogy or a metaphor, body parts oftentimes just represent spiritual things. Like the scriptures in Revelation speak about those that have the ears to hear, meaning literally everybody has ears. So in that sense, it's talking about your spiritual ears, like, do you have the spiritual, pretty much, are you able to spiritually understand, spiritually hear what the scriptures are saying? And it's the same thing here. When it represents your eye, it's talking about, your spiritual eye, which is what? Do you have the spiritual understanding to see, to see what the scriptures is talking about? It said what? The light of the body is the eye. So it's spiritually, that eye right there is really represents your mind. Do you have the spiritual eyes of the mind to understand? And it's funny because, they talk about your third eye, the pineal gland, which is like in the center of your eyebrows, but up a little bit. And that pretty much just goes into being able to see the unseen, have the spiritual, perception to see the unseen. But right here, this eye, when you go into the word, it says, outlined in biblical usage, the eye, metaphorically, the eyes of the mind. You see, the eyes of the mind, the faculty of knowing. And how do you know anything? Is through your mind. It's through your mind. Yahweh Bashem Yahshai has to give you understanding, which that comes through your mind. Everything is pretty much through your mind. When the scriptures say in Revelation, those that have ears, let them hear. We know that's not talking about your little ears, but again, it's just talking about, can you understand it? Do you have the spiritual mind needed to understand what the scriptures are saying. So right here is no different. These eyes are talking about your mind. All right. Metaphorically, again, reading it metaphorically, the eyes of the mind, the faculty of knowing. Knowing and all of that, understanding, feeling, thoughts, they all start in the mind. They all start in the mind. So now that we know that, let's read verse 22 again. All right. It says, the light of the body is the eye, showing you how important it is, how important your mind is to keep, light in your mind, right? What is that light? Because these three verses here in Matthew 6, 22 to 23 are talking about your mind, keeping it single and full of light. So now that we understand that now that we understand that the mind, the eye is the mind, what is that light? That light, and when you think about light, light guides you. Light makes it clear. If you're in a dark room, you don't know where you're going, then you turn on the light, you can see. All right. If you, they always say chasing the light at the end of the tunnel, and that tunnel is full of darkness, but there's light at the end. So you may be in that tunnel, you may not can see your feet, you may not know what's left and right, but that light at the end of the tunnel is guiding you. All right, that light is guiding you out of that darkness. So what is that light representative of? Is this truth? All right, this knowledge, this wisdom, and this understanding, and also Yahweh Shai. So I got two precepts real quick. Psalms 43 and verse 3. It says, "Oh, send out thy light and thy truth." You see? "Oh, send out thy light and thy truth. Let them lead thee." Okay? "Let them bring me unto the holy hill and to thy tabernacles." All right, so let's read that one more time. All right? Because I came upon this verse and I was like, damn, that's a good ass precept for this breakdown, man. Psalms 43 and 3. It says, "Oh, send out thy light and thy truth." Okay, showing you that the light and truth go hand in hand. "Let them lead thee." And did we not talk about light leads you? Okay, like I said, you have light at the end of the tunnel. Whenever, I'm pretty sure that saying is used for people that are going through a hard time. You may be going through like something depressing, and people always say, "Don't give up. There's light at the end of that tunnel." Meaning you may be going through some rough shit, but there's light at the end. Like if you can persevere and make it through, there's blessings awaiting for you pretty much. But it shows you that, light guides you. All right. Light guides you. And that's going to go hand in hand with the word focus that we're going to look up. But nonetheless, right. So, that shows you that light and truth go hand in hand. So is the truth is what guides us. All right. This truth is like light, man. It guides us. This proper knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that we have of these scriptures of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is what guides us. Let's also go to John 1, showing you that Yahweh Shai is the light. John 1, I'm going to get right to the point, verse 6. It says, "There was a man sent from the Most High, whose name was John." Talking about John the Baptist. "The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light." And who did John the Baptist, by way of his teachings and baptism, who did baptizing, who did John the Baptist pave the way for? Is Yahweh Shai. So this verse is talking about Yahweh Shai. Right, verse 9 says, that was the true light, which lighteth every man that cometh into the world. So who is that true light? Clearly this is talking about Yahweh Shai. All right, it said he was, in verse 8, he was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light. So who is the true light? Yahweh Shai. All right. And these words, the proper understanding of these words is the truth. All right. And these words at the same time are Yahweh Shai. John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the Most High, and the Word was God, or the Word was a power. All right. So these words are Yahweh Shai, man. Yahweh Shai's spirit is all throughout these words. The scriptures say he comes in the volume of the book. So what's the point? The point is that this light represents, in Matthew 6:22, the light represents this truth, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and Yahweh Shai. So let's read it now and put the pieces together. It says, Matthew 6:22, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. So what? The light of the body is the eye. And then it goes on to say, if therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. So your mind has to be single on what? Your mind has to be focused on the light, which is what? This truth, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and Yahweh Shai. So the scriptures is pretty much telling you right here that your eye, all right, or your mind has to be focused on the light, which is this truth in Yahweh Shai. So your mind has to be focused on the light, man. What is the light for us? Again, it's this truth, all right, which encompasses the name and the person Yahweh Shai. So your mind has to be full of light. Your mind has to be full of this truth, man. Your mind has to be focused on this truth. That's why when you read verse 23, what does it say? It says, but if thine eye be evil, talking about your mind, all right? But if your mind is evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness, meaning your whole mind shall be full of darkness. All right, your whole life is going to be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? And when you read that in the translation, that exact sentence, it says, and if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep is that darkness? And a lot of people out here, they think they have the real light. They think they know who the Lord's son is. They call him Jesus. They don't really have the light. All right. That's actually darkness. So, darkness is also equates to what? Having no knowledge, having no understanding, having no understanding, no knowledge, no wisdom. I think there's a precept to that in like Amos or something. The sun and moon shall be darkened. I can't exactly think of it. But yeah, man. So as you can clearly see, that darkness represents having no understanding, and the light in the mind represents your mind is this truth. And the light, Salakia, got my words jumbled up. The eye is the mind, and the light represents, this truth. So you have to keep your mind single and focused on the light. That's why it goes on to say in verse 24, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. He cannot serve the Most High and Mammon. So it's talking about you can't serve two people or two masters. You have to fully dedicate, or in other words, you have to fully focus on one master, that which is your sole true master. That's why I said you cannot serve the Most High and Mammon. And when you go into that word Mammon, it just means, carnal things pretty much. It says treasure, riches. So it's really just talking about serving the Most High, or are you serving your flesh? Are you serving materialistic, vain things? So these whole three verses, all right, that Yahweh Shai, this is red letter, this is Yahweh Shai speaking. These words are pretty much telling you that you have to stay focused. You have to keep your mind focused on this truth, on this knowledge, all right, on Yahweh Shai, and you have to fully serve and dedicate yourself to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, because there is no one or the other. Like I said, you cannot serve God and Mammon. Meaning you can't call yourself a Israelite, and you can't know all this knowledge and then still be a nigga. You know, which you got a lot of these other camps out here. You had that coonery activity by ISUPK lately, where they let that dude interview them, and they acted a fool, man. That was a shameful thing that they let happen. And that's pretty much them serving Mammon, you know? They're serving the flesh, all right? That was a carnal thing, all right? They said the real nigga university or something like that. That's carnal, man. They're pretty much niggas with a garment on. And you can't do that. You got to serve one or the other. You got to fully dedicate yourself to the Lord, or you're going to be fully dedicated to Satan. And that being fully dedicated to the Lord goes into being focused. So let's get that word focused. And before that, let's read, I'm just going to get these 2 verses again and then get focused and close it out. But again, you know, Matthew 6:22, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. So now we know what this is talking about. You know, the light of the body is the eye, which is pretty much highlighting the importance of your mind and having understanding. All right, it's saying that the light of the body is the eye, you know, meaning in your mind, that's where you have understanding, you know, and that understanding has it has to be, you know, real light, real understanding, which is this truth. And then it says, if therefore thine eye be single. So let's go into this word single real quick. Single, outline of biblical usage, it says simple, single, hold, good, fulfilling its office, sound. And the Strong's definition, and this is what I want, it says properly folded together, i.e. single, figuratively clear. You know, so to be single represents being clear. And also, when you think about being single, you know, single means like it's one, right? It's not 2, it's just one. You know, one focus. So it says, if therefore thine eye be single, meaning what? Your mind has to be focused. Your mind has to be, you know, have one light in it, one truth, which is, ultimately Yahweh Shai. All right, our mind has to be focused on Yahweh Shai, which is this truth, you know? This is the truth, man. From Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is dealing with, you know, the apostles, man. And GMS has the truth. So you got to be focused on this truth. It says, thy whole body shall be full of light. Now we know that that's talking about, you know, having the real light, which is this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Your mind has to be, your eye or your mind has to be full of this light. So let's get the word focus real quick. Showing you that, you know, to be focused and have your eye, which is your mind, full of light, go hand in hand. All right. So real quick, focus on the etymology. It says a noun, the 1640s, point of convergence. It says from Latin, focus, hearth, fireplace. All right. In mathematical sense, for a point of convergence, perhaps an analogy of the burning point of a lens, right? So perhaps the analogy of the burning points of a lens. And then you go down, it says introduced into English 1650s, center of activity or energy. So your center of activity or energy, all right, the point at which all of your mind is converged on one point, has to be what? It has to be this truth, man. It has to be this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. All right, so that's what Matthew 6:22 is saying, that your mind has to be full of that light, your mind has to be single, meaning what? Your mind has to be focused on this truth. And I like the fact it said real quick, it said point of convergence. Now, when you look up light, when you look up a focused beam of light, this is a beam of light converged at one point. You know, as scriptures is talking about light and all of that. So if you're watching the video, you see the image, then you'll see that this is a laser beam. And there's such thing, people say laser focused. You know, someone has a laser focus, a laser beam like focus. That's because the word focus literally means a point of convergence. I mean, everything is drawn to one point. And as you see on this image, this laser beam is focused on one point. This light, a laser beam is light focused on one point. And as you see in all these images, this light is converged, focused on one point. So it's focused. This light is focused on one point. And that's how our mind has to be focused on this truth. Is like this laser beam is focused on one point. And this laser beam is light, focused on one point. You know? So our minds have to be constantly focused on the light that we have in our mind, which is this truth, and which is Yahweh Shai. We cannot serve two masters. We can't get caught up in the affairs of this world. We have to remain spiritual, dedicate ourselves fully to this ministry and this work, remain focused on the light, keep our minds focused on the light, which is this truth, knowledge, wisdom, understanding in Yahweh Shai. Lord willing, that was edifying. Shalom.